Perfect. Okay, 3 of 4.
El hospital.
Okay, we've leveled up, and it is time to pick another language. Morfar är tröttare än vanligt. Maten är färdig. And let's see what we're doing when we get back. Greek! We're doing Greek when we get back. Ben neredeyse her gün okula gidelim. Fun fact. Turkish. Hello, Shakespeare. How you doing? Fun fact, in Spanish, the word for bishop in chess is alfil. And that actually comes from Arabic. Fil. The same word fil as this. Meaning elephant, because the bishop traditionally was to represent elephant units somehow. Similarly, in Russian, the word for bishop is sword, and that also means elephant. Okay. 10-159. Haven't made a huge dent in it, but we're getting there. Okay, gonna do some Chinese now. Nej. Nej. Man. Igen. Jo. 5. Ducks are drinking wine. Bambas. Okay, Bambas is ducks. Okay, I have now leveled up. Let's see what the XP situation is now. 10,340 out of 12,500. And as always, viewers can choose my next language for me just with a follow and a $5 to my Patreon. I buy a computer or quack, and here's another example. I like to point these out. For this word for or, quack sounds vaguely like Hogun and the hok in Hogun in Korean or waku in Japanese, and that appears it is the exact same kind of character. Oh, I see. This is Dikhe Ishai Fui, which means do you want food? But yeah, are you hungry? That kind of thing. How are the boys? Cine da boy. Posso Milao. Pote. When is it? Proteine. Udros. In the designated chicken-eating area, obviously.
Live. Monsieur.
See.
Live là. Liwell, live là.
맞아요. Yeah. Sí. Eso sí. 맞아요. 그렇죠. Inter. Počkej. A. Sí.
Oedden coginio panas.
Jacob. Hefad. 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 Hek. 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 Mwalimu.
This is Arabic. And it's from Mu'allim.
Juma ni mwalimu mke.
Oh, things speak cat sounds. Meow and the pictures of the fish. That's they were proud.
Sööpä. Pupu. Yrittävä. Uraista. Omena.
Are in the city center. And it's got some interesting aspects to it.
여자는 어느 나라에 있습니까? 여자는 어느 나라에 있습니까? 여자는 어느 나라에 있습니까?
Countries for living things.
아니, 너, 나마에 와
Perfect. Okay, 3 of 4.
El hospital es...
Okay, we've leveled up and it is time to pick another language. Morfar är tröttare än vanligt. Maten är färdig. And let's see what we're doing when we get back. Greek! We're doing Greek when we get back. Ben neredeyse her gün okula giderim. Fun fact. Turkish. Hello, Shakespeare. How you doing? Fun fact, in Spanish, the word for bishop in chess is alfil. And that actually comes from Arabic. Fil. The same word fil as this. Meaning elephant, because the bishop traditionally was to represent elephant units somehow. Similarly, in Russian, the word for bishop is squab, and that also means elephant. Okay. 10-159. Haven't made a huge dent in it, but we're getting there. Okay, gonna do some Chinese now. Nej. Nej. Man. Igen. Jo. 5. Ducks are drinking wine. Bambas. Bamba, okay, Bambas is ducks. Okay, I have now leveled up. Let's see what the XP situation is now. 10,340 out of 12,500. And as always, viewers can choose my next language for me just with a follow and a $5 to my Patreon. I buy a computer or quack. And here's another example. I like to point these out. For this word for or, quack sounds vaguely like Hogun and the hok in Hogun in Korean or waku in Japanese, and that appears it is the exact same kind of character. Oh, I see. This is Dikhe Ishai Fui, which means do you want food? But yeah, are you hungry? That kind of thing. How are the boys? Cine da boy. Posso Milao. Pote. Buenese. Proteine. Udros. Protopulo. In the designated chicken-eating area, obviously.
Leave.
Monsieur.
See.
Livre.
Liwe livla.
Maciej. Ja. Sy. Wysoki. Maciej. Proč? Inter. Počkej. A. Sy.
Oedden coginio panas.
Jakob. Hefed. 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 Hek. 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 Mwalimu.
This is Arabic. And it's from Muallim.
Juma ni mwalimu mke.
Oh, thanks to cat sons. Meow and the pictures of the fish. That's they were proud.
Sööpä. Pupu. Yrittävät. Puraista. Omena.
Are in the city center. And it's got some interesting aspects to it.
여자는 어느 나라에 있습니까? 여자는 어느 나라에 있습니까? 여자는 어느 나라에 있습니까?
Countries for living things.
兄の名前は
Perfect. Okay, 3 of 4.
El hospital es
Okay, we've leveled up and it is time to pick another language. Morfar är tröttare än vanligt. Maten är färdig. And let's see what we're doing when we get back. Greek. We're doing Greek when we get back. Ben neredeyse her gün okuldayım. Fun fact. Turkish. Hello, Shakespeare. How you doing? Fun fact, in Spanish, the word for bishop in chess is alfil. And that actually comes from Arabic. Fil. The same word fil as this. Meaning elephant, because the bishop traditionally was to represent elephant units somehow. Similarly, in Russian, the word for bishop is squab, and that also means elephant. 10-159. Haven't made a huge dent in it, but we're getting there. Okay, gonna do some Chinese now. Nej. Nej. Man. Igen. Jo. 5. Ducks are drinking wine. Bambas. Bamba, okay, Bambas is ducks. Okay, I have now leveled up. Okay, hello and welcome to Hyperpolyglotting with Elise, where we are continuing our Duolingo Speedrun, once again in Japanese. To start out, we do have the iMask of randomization back. I found that after a long search the other night. And I also want to introduce So I think I'll wait until some people start showing up. And new series that I'm working on. Okay,
タクシーに乗りました。タクシーに乗りました。
See, and that's another weird division, because there is no real way that you would divide. I mean, mashita just goes together. The only other verb ending that you could have that has mashi in it was masho, but it would just be even weirder to divide that with the small yo and u separate. Densha
電車は大きいです。
これはあなたの車ですか？これはあなたの車ですか？
電車は大きいです。
Trains are big. I don't know, I've been on some small ones.
車、
金曜日、
金曜日、電車、乗り。
あなたの車は小さいです。あなたの車は小さいです。
And one thing, I mean, they just sort of use anata a lot, but the thing is, you really should be a bit careful with it. I mean, yes, it's the sort of dictionary translation for you. That's true, but it's kind of awkward in most situations. It would be more common for people to use, instead of anata, to use, for example, each other's names as the word for you. Like, I don't know. Morioka-san no kuruma wa chisai desu, which can mean, you know, referring to Morioka-san in the third person, or addressing them. And that's just completely normal in Japanese, you know, or 部長さんの車は大きいですね. Where the buchou, the department head, is the person you're talking to. So, anata is to be enjoyed with caution. In fact, one thing that's worth noting is that anata is often used as sort of a term of endearment in between couples, especially it's commonly said by women in that context. So it is definitely not something that is just totally normal for general usage. I mean, of course, Japanese people for the most part will expect pretty much foreigners to get all sorts of things wrong, so you won't necessarily cause all that much offense, but in the sense that, you know, there's just a very low expectation when it comes to foreigners' knowledge of Japanese. But it's good to get in the habit of not using anata in most contexts, and instead tending towards using people's names or people's titles. 電車、乗り、車、留学。
あなたの車は小さいです。
電車に乗ります。
I get the train, or we'll get on the train, I guess is what they're looking for, even though they actually mean the same thing. タクシーには乗りません。
タクシーには乗りません。
See, they want I don't ride taxis, which isn't wrong. But that can also mean I'm riding this particular taxi. 電車。
に乗りませ。
うん。
車に乗ります。
I ride the car. Yeah. Okay. And タクシー
た
に
に
乗り
乗り
ま
まし
した。
た。
こりゃ
これは
あん
あなた
たの
の
車です
です
か？
か？
And there are also a lot of different words for you, quite apart from just the awkwardness that can ensue when using anata a lot. Because Japanese has all sorts of pronouns that are used specifically to indicate particular relationships. So the result is there are lots of different ways of saying I, there are lots of different ways of saying he, she, they, you, all of them. タクシーに
乗ります。
電車
電
に
に
乗ります。
ます。
Okay. 鉄
鉄
自転車が好きです。
I like bicycles. Or this could also just mean I like the bicycle. It can be singular, it can be plural, it can be either. 自転車
自転車
乗り
乗り
使い
使い
鉄
鉄し
自転
自
車
転
が
が
好きです。
地下鉄を使います。
I use the tube.
し
鉄
Tetsu.
Tetsu means iron. See, chikatetsu, or the Korean version, chihachoi, is short for chikatetsudo, or chihachoido, which means underground railroad. And choido, or tetsudo, means literally iron road. Which is actually a direct translation, identical to the words in, let's see, Spanish, French, German, Russian. It's just shorter in Japanese. Nori.
乗り
Fire, Eisenbahn, железная дорога, ferrovia, ferrocarril, via férrea. 自
自転車
使い
使いし
電車を使います。電車を
使います。
地下鉄に乗ります。
I take the subway.
地下鉄に乗りません。
地
下鉄に乗り
ませ
ませ。
タクシ
タクシ
ーを
ーを使います。
地下鉄は好きじゃないです。
I do not like the subway. 新しい自転車を
自転車を
買いました。
た
自転車に乗ります。
地下
地下鉄
鉄は
は
好きじ
じゃ
ゃない
ない
で。
ですす。
地下鉄を使います。
ます
Oh, well, that was hard.
電車を使います。
Okay. And let's see. We're in fourth place. Only about 62 short of third place, and little over 150 short of second. That shouldn't be too hard. On the other hand, Clarissa is way ahead with 2304. I mean, I don't get how somebody manages. I mean, I do quite a lot of this, and I do it at a fairly high rate of speed. So it kind of amazes me that anyone could possibly be going even faster. But it is time to put on the eye mask of randomization and pick another language. Where did we end up? Scottish Gaelic. Oh, we get some great content from Scottish Gaelic. Great sentences. Weird food combinations. I mean, they're so weird that actually they could be authentically Scottish.
Hello.
Hello.
Sláinte Anna.
Cheers, Anna. Well, that's easy. That's basically the same as Irish, just the accent mark goes in the other direction.
Left.
To
Left.
you. Same in
Hello,
Irish.
Eli.
Hello, Ailey.
Halló, agus Chiari.
Agus cheers.
Chiari. Sláinte Éili.
Cheers, Ailey.
Fáilte Anna agus Éili.
Welcome, Anna and Ailey.
Fáilte Éili.
Welcome, Ailey.
Sláinte Eli agus Anna.
This is getting a little repetitive. Ailey and chicken. Anna.
Tachbale de Charich.
Thank you, friend. Total guess. Although acharich sounds a bit like achara, which is like the vocative form of friend in Irish, so.
Sláinte.
Cheers.
Hello, agus tachbalacht a charich.
Thank you, friend.
Tachbale agus Chiari a Charich.
Thank you, and bye, friend.
Chiari.
Bye.
Fáilte a charich.
Welcome, friend. I see we've got another viewer. Welcome. Just in case you're new here, what we're doing here is speed running Duolingo. Right now we're working on Scottish Gaelic, and we change languages randomly, basically every time I level up, and viewers also have the option of choosing a language for me for a $5 contribution to Patreon, plus a follow on Twitch or a subscription on YouTube. So, and I'm doing this basically to get an idea of just how Duolingo works, because people often ask me what I think of it, and I have, the fact is, very little idea. Until very recently I'd never done anything with it, so I really couldn't say anything in detail. Now this is...
Tapalait. Agus
What?
cheery charach.
Okay, thank you. And bye, friend. Well, I find... Oh, damn it, a misclick. Wondering, I must have done that the other time too, because that... what do I like the most about Scottish Gaelic? Well, you mean Scottish Gaelic the language, or Scottish Gaelic as it is presented in Duolingo?
Tapalait. Agus cheery
Thank
charach.
you, and bye, friend. Okay, and no misclicks this time. Wish they'd give you an "Are you sure?" if there's an obvious misclick, like "Thank boy" and "Bye, friend." It's always so frustrating. Tea.
Tea.
Ha tea ma.
Tea is good. Coffee.
Coffee. Coom.
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 Matid va.
Good morning. Okay, and that is practically the same as Irish. It's spelt a bit differently, pronounced roughly the same though.
Eiche.
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 Cheery Andra.
Cheery, Andra.
Andra.
Oh, well, fact is I really don't know much about, I have very little experience with the language. I've done more on here than I've done anywhere else, except for watching, like, BBC Alba a couple of times. By the way, welcome. How'd you find me? Just out of curiosity. I mean, I find Celtic languages interesting in general, and also I like that they're, trying to revive it. And so learning it to me is also kind of part of, supporting that to a certain extent. But, I mean, on Duolingo, what I like is that they have, this is not a very good example so far. We just had fairly boring, repetitive stuff. Cool. But...
Falche. Agus Fisked ma.
Welcome, and gonna say good afternoon. But, like the last time, it was all sorts of just wild, weird food stuff.
Falche Andra.
Welcome, Andrew.
Fiske ma Andra.
Good afternoon, Andrew.
Eiche va.
Good night. And that's pronounced almost that's pronounced roughly the same as good night in Irish. Just written totally differently.
Eiche va a charach.
I mean, actually fairly similarly, but with a lot of extra letters. And missing an I. Good night, friend. Madden va?
Va.
Andra.
Andra.
Tea.
Tea.
Agus.
Agus.
Coffee.
Coffee.
Tapalet.
Le.
A carriage.
Charach.
Okay. Going well. 2-5. Banya.
Banya. Coffee. Agus banya.
Coffee and milk. Sugar.
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 Leave.
Leave.
Leave. Coffee, ice, sugar.
Coffee and sugar. Coffee, ice, sugar.
Iron brew. Tapaleave a henad.
Iron brew. Oh. See, this is how you know somebody is actually trying to put some like cultural stuff in here. Yeah. Oh, well, that's cool. Nice to know that the recommendations are actually like bringing people there. It's well, welcome. So, yeah, I mean, the other thing I'm doing here is this is a channel that I set up specifically to talk about language stuff, because language are just sort of a thing I do. I'm a translator and I speak a lot of languages. And so I wanted to have a channel to talk about language stuff. But the trouble is, I'm really bad at coming up with topics. Like, absolute crap at it. So, you know, it's easier if topics are sort of given to me from prompting. And Duolingo is giving me a nice supply of language-related topics, you know, just prompts to talk about language stuff, and it's really great.
Iron brew. Tapaleave a henad. Leave.
A henad?
Henad.
Oh, by the way, Asian languages? Which Asian languages are you into?
Sugar agus banya.
Sugar and milk.
Tapaleave a henad.
Thank you, grandfather.
Tapaleave a vahad.
Thank you, mother.
Sláinte a bhahad.
Cheers, mother.
Fáilte ahad.
Welcome, father. Yeah, this is much tamer than the last one. The last one was the weirdest food combinations you've ever heard of. Just stuff that you would never dream of eating together, and I don't remember any of them at the moment, but I will be clipping that at some point. Thank you, father. Yeah, I mean, this on the other hand is just pretty boring.
agus tapaleave a henad.
Okay, welcome. And thank you, father. Tapaleave.
Leave.
Ahar.
Ahad.
Tapa.
Tapa.
Leave.
Leave.
Vahar.
Vahad.
Avahar. See, I'm kind of curious because I've got a series that I was just about to just introduce and talk about briefly when I reach a sort of a pausing point. And it relates to an Asian language, so...
Tapa. Leave.
It might be one that you're into. Avahar.
Vahad.
Oh, well, you've come to the right place. Because okay. When we level up, I'm gonna, switch languages, in between languages, I'm gonna show you this, but it is about Korean. It's a series specifically for Korean learners. And I'm gonna it's just a brief preview. Because I've only got, I haven't completely finalized the first video in the thing. And I need to check a couple of things, make sure I've got a couple of translations absolutely correct. And I'm waiting to hear back from a friend of mine on that. But when we finish these next two units, these next two lessons, we'll look at it. And maybe you'll be interested. Maybe it'll be exactly, right up your alley. I mean, it's definitely about Korean, so. Coffee. Thank you. Brother. Oh, wait. Yeah, brother. Brother.
Hello, a teacher.
Teacher. That's teacher with lenition. So you just use the English word for teacher in Scottish Gaelic.
Ha.
Yeah, as for languages you're not used to sounding fast, I mean, one of the really interesting things, I've experienced this many times myself, is that speech slows down as you start to understand more of it. The more words that are actually familiar to you, the less, like, processing resources you're using trying to retain what you just heard and make sense of it. And so, even though people are talking the same speed, it's as if they slowed down. Okay, I didn't hear.
Ha.
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 is-
Tappalit a bhrahad.
Thank you, brother. Polcha, August Topalev. Olive? That's Professor? Okay.
Tea. Tappalit a bhrahad.
Thank you, brother.
Iron brew. Tappalit a valich.
Yeah, Iron Brew, the official soft drink of Scotland. Pure sugar. Tappalit.
Tappa. Lit. Iron brew. Tappalit a valich.
A Valich.
Valich. Tappalit a fjuhar.
Thank you, sister, I think. You're up da.
Slanja a hitchad.
Cheers, teacher.
Hello. Agus tappaliv Olive.
And thank you, Professor. So random. Are we gonna get...
Coffee. Tappalit a fjuhar.
Thank you, sister. Is this how we're gonna do naming beverages and thanking relatives and academic people? Is that what this whole thing was? I was expecting some wild shit.
Fisgad ma a hitchad.
Good afternoon, teacher.
Tea.
Tea.
Tappalit a fjuhar.
Thank you, sister. Iron brew.
Iron brew.
Tappalit.
Le.
Valich.
Valich.
Bolcha.
Val.
August.
Ayes.
Tappalit.
Tappa. Lert.
Valich.
Valich.
Okay, one more to go.
Scanyal Anna.
Brilliant, Anna. Skinyel.
Fisker ma Elisach.
Good afternoon, Elisich.
Bial.
Vale.
Okay, that's how you pronounce it.
Tappaliv Eli agus Anna.
Thank you, Eli and Anna.
Feared.
No.
Feared.
Tappaliv Andra agus Anna.
Apple, okay, thank you. Andrew and Anna.
Va.
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 Falche Eli.
Welcome, Eli.
Vuch.
Vuk.
Vuch.
Fisgad ma Anna.
Good afternoon, Anna.
Kiet Mila Falche a fjuhar.
Mila Falcha.
Falche.
Kiet Mila Falche a fjuhar.
A fewer.
Fjuhar.
Oh, that's interesting. That is, like, even with the pronunciation, it is very practically identical to the traditional Irish welcome, Cead Míle Fáilte, which means 100,000 welcomes. Thank you. I mean, this isn't particularly challenging, it's the same stuff over and over and over again.
Ha Shuchgar Scanyal.
Sugar is brilliant. Okay, now we're getting to something interesting. Like, are we talking actual sugar, or is this, the sort of sugar that you use coffee grounds to disguise the smell of?
Cheery Elisach.
Bye, Elisich.
Eichida, Isabel.
Good night, Isabel.
Kiet Mila Falche.
100,000 welcomes.
Bial.
Beal.
Bial.
Okay. We've leveled up, so we're gonna pick a language. Okay, and we've moved up to 3rd place now, 1575 XP. Time for the eye mask of randomization. Though viewers can short-circuit the process and choose a language for me out of all of the languages on Duolingo just by giving me a follow or a subscribe, depending on what platform they're on, and a $5 contribution to my Patreon, which helps me do more of this stuff, and also helps me build this as sort of a sideline for the summer months in particular when translation work is very slow. Okay, let's see, where are we going? One of my regular viewers actually had the idea of randomizing this, and I think it was an excellent idea. It makes it more interesting somehow. And I end up doing languages I wouldn't have thought of. Okay, we got Dutch. I always get the Dutch and Russian flags confused. All these, like, horizontal line flags. Like Indonesia and Poland. I always have the hardest time keep telling those apart as well. Okay. So. This is the series that I've got going. This is called Learn Korean Through Music. Okay, and here's the idea is something I got from a magazine that was around, like, back in the 1990s, called Mangaji, which was a publication that was about learning Japanese through manga, through, you know, Japanese comics and stuff. And what they would do, which was extremely helpful for me learning Japanese at the time, was they would give you the original text, you know, and dialogue and stuff, and then under it, they give you a literal word-for-word gloss of what's going on. And then they give you the idiomatic English translation. And so, and that is really important to actually kind of see how those two things relate to each other, because both with Korean and with Japanese, you have to get used to a totally new way of formulating your ideas and thoughts and stuff like that in order for what you say in English to have the same effect as it would, you know, in Japanese as it would in English. It's really complicated stuff, and you have to kind of be able to look under the bonnet a bit and see exactly how it's working. So what we're doing here is I'm taking these songs and let me, okay, hold on a second. It'll take just a second to give us some subtitles. I'll show you what we are. Okay, so we have the Korean original lyrics. 종이홀 다가고서 무리라네. And then in the middle, we have this literal gloss that just goes word for word without, you know, adjusting word order or trying to make it sound, you know, like it make sense in English, to show kind of how the parts go together. And at the bottom then, an idiomatic English translation. In this case, you know, the translation's all by me. So we go through this, and word for word, these various Korean songs. I've picked some favorites of mine that I think are probably not familiar to most learners. sort of, and then afterwards we have a vocab section that looks like this. And so that's how this is going to work. And it's a series. I've got the first video almost finished. I just have to get some of the translations checked out. I have a friend who's going to just look over a few things that I'm not entirely certain I've got right before I actually upload it. And the way it's going to work is there will be one a week, and there will be sort of early previews, early viewing for people who are patrons on my Patreon. And then like 5 days later, I think roughly, it'll become generally available. And the music will probably be music that most people haven't actually heard, because I'm not doing K-pop. People have already done that. I'm actually doing like some of the more interesting North Korean songs that I've come up with. Although this actually is not specifically a North Korean song, it's worth noting. This was written before there was a North Korea in 1928. But the performance, it's performed a lot in the North. Not necessarily. See, the thing is, that's the thing. The language, just the way, if you were to speak English the exact same way as Korean, it would make no sense. The same thing is true the other way. It would just sound extremely weird and disconcerting after a certain point. One of the things you have to really kind of get used to, I mean, you might be able to kind of make yourself understood, but it's not going to sound, it's going to sound a little bit odd if you're just kind of going word for word, because just the way people form expressions is just different. And so English is going to sound, you try to go word for word between Korean and English, it's going to be awkward in both directions. So one of the things you just have to kind of get used to when learning is that you're going to have to learn to sort of, first of all, it's best not to be constantly trying to translate in your head, but it's important to know exactly how people actually express these ideas, these sentiments, these thoughts and everything in Korean, so and understand how where the differences are in order to be able to kind of adapt your own way of expressing yourself so that you can speak a much more natural, much more understandable Korean. Oh yeah, I mean, it's a totally different sentence structure. The verbs are very complicated. There are all sorts of different verb forms. There's polite speech, there's formal speech, there's informal speech, and then these things are different between the South and the North. It's worth noting. I mean, what I learned was actually Northern first. I learned it from North Korean TV, just because it happened to be a handy source and I was curious about it. And then, I started watching South Korean TV. It's like, okay, this is actually rather different, isn't it? People pronounce things differently and all sorts of different words. But yeah, I mean, it's a whole new sentence structure, just a whole new style of speaking. But these videos will both introduce people to what I think are some interesting, interesting Korean music. I have a whole collection of them that I'm going to do. And also, polite speech is what learners are mostly taught in the first place. It's the plain and informal stuff that often learners don't get. Like Duolingo, one of the weaknesses of it is that it, for the most part, does not actually, in Korean or any other language, really give you a clear idea what the differences are and when you would use one and when you'd use another. It's very, I mean, occasionally you'll get a sort of vague sense of it, but it's very slapdash about it, and mostly they leave that to lesson notes, and I have to say, I've not even seen these lesson notes. So this will be a thing that, you know, I'm going to be putting up on my Patreon, and then it'll go live on YouTube like 5 days later. That will help sort of bridge the gap between how we speak, you know, natural English speech and natural Korean speech, using interesting cultural products from Korea. So that's the idea, well, that's the idea. So I mean, does that sound interesting? You have any, like, this is actually in development right now, so if you have thoughts, I'm very interested in them. And while you're having them, we're going to continue with some Dutch. Yeah. Well, the thing about polite and informal speech, first of all, people are always using all of them. It's a matter of like relative age, relative status, and things like that, which one you use in a given situation. Like if you're speaking to somebody older than you, you will tend to use the more polite variants. If you're speaking to somebody younger than you, you will be more likely to use the more plain variants. That would be more normal. And if you're talking to somebody who is somehow like higher in status, like, I don't know, like your boss or something like that, then you would tend to use more formal. And in the North, there is a much more marked tendency towards the formal speech in general, in pretty much all contexts. You don't see as much plain speech as you do in the South. Okay, so where did we leave off in Dutch? We haven't done much Dutch, because Dutch is one of my working languages, and I've mostly tried to focus.
In de middag.
I've mostly tried to focus on languages I don't actually know well, because I think it gives me more of a learner's perspective on the thing. Study in the afternoon. But now with this random selection, I'm kind of getting
Duo,
much more
ik kies jou.
Duo, I choose you.
Ik wacht op iemand.
I am waiting for somebody. Waiting for him.
Hoe lang moeten we nog op het eten
wachten? The director coffee.
Hij komt praten.
He is coming to talk.
Wij praten met jou.
Wij praten met jou aan de telefoon.
Ik praat niet tegen jou, maar tegen de neushoorn.
I'm not talking to you, but to the rhinoceros. Yeah, of course. I mean, that's the thing in the Netherlands. They're always talking to rhinoceroses and not to other people. It's a social problem that they have. Everybody just wants to talk to rhinoceroses.
Rennen jullie of lopen jullie?
Are you running or walking?
Wij rennen 15 minuten lang. Wij rennen 15 minuten lang. Ik studeer Nederland.
Ik studeer Nederland. Ik breng je naar het vliegveld.
Ik ren 2 meter.
Ik ren 2 meter. I run 2 meters? Like, is that even running? That's like 2 steps.
Waarom studeer je?
Waarom studeer je?
Ik breng je naar het vliegveld.
De mensen Kiezen
Kiezen. Welke acteur mag blijven?
Okay, 1 of 4.
Ik begrijp het niet.
I do not understand it.
De kok pakt het vlees.
The cook takes the meat.
De kunstenares blijft hopen.
The artist keeps hoping.
Zijn hond volgt hem naar zijn werk.
His dog follows him to... Oh, well, to work. I was looking for his work, because that's what it says literally, and usually Duolingo is literal, both these things. But follows him to work works as well.
Zij vraagt de man wat voor hond hij heeft.
She asks the man what kind of dog he has.
De secretaresse.
De secretaresse vraagt of we thee willen.
Het schaap volgt de boer.
The sheep follows the farmer.
De jongen haalt snel een dokter.
The boy quickly gets a doctor.
Wie haalt vandaag koffie?
Wie haalt vandaag koffie voor ons?
Ik begrijp niet wat je zegt, want je praat te snel.
I do not understand what you are saying because you are speaking too fast.
Ik hoop dat ik je weer zie.
Ik hoop dat ik je weer zie.
De eenden volgen hun moeder. De eenden volgen hun moeder. Ik hoop dat je het haalt.
Ik hoop dat je het haalt.
Waarom vraag je dat?
Waarom vraag je dat?
Begrijpt u het?
Begrijpt u het? See, here's another example. Jij and u are two different forms of the word you in Dutch. And jij is kind of informal. You'd use it with when you're talking, for example, to kids or you're talking to friends, close acquaintances. Whereas u is formal and you'd use it, you know, with people that you maintain a certain distance from. And that's an important distinction. You kind of have to learn it in order to be able to function in Dutch. But the examples they provide really do not help to teach that distinction. 저는 저의 친구를 oh yeah, nearly. There are just a couple of small things. 친구를, because it's the direct object. So you would put let me write it in chat. But yeah, you got, I mean, and 저희, I mean, that's probably just a typo. That But yeah, I mean, grammar was right, the word order was right, and I imagine you meant to say choye instead of jaye, but it's easy to get the keys confused. And they look fairly similar if you're not paying too much attention, if you're not looking too closely. The other way of saying my, if you're using cho, which is the sort of polite word for I, it's sort of humble, is che. So there's choye or che. De
kok pakt het vlees.
Sorry.
Ik pak mijn middageten.
Now, the thing is, actually, I mean, people, particularly in songs, you will see a lot of these, you will see some of these particles left out. Although, rul, in this case, Well, actually, yeah. In this case, I mean, people would understand it if you left that out because you're already marking cho as the subject. And in songs, like if you look at the lyrics to that song that's in the video that will be coming out in a few days once I get all of the details worked out, leaves out a lot of particles. You'll see that a lot in Korean songs in particular. And sometimes in speech as well.
We kunnen niet beginnen zonder jou.
So people would understand what you said there. We cannot start without you.
Zij geloven de kinderen.
They believe the children.
Wij stoppen bij de haven.
We stop at the port. De kok stopt de ober. De kok stoppen. Yeah, stoppen. Right.
Ik vergeet nooit iets.
I was thinking koks, which in German means coke, like both in the sense of the coal product and in the sense of blow, and so it went to singular. I never forget anything. Okay, have a good night. Usually I am also on in the afternoons though. That's not going to be the case on Wednesday because I'm going to be out of away on a little trip. But on Thursday I will be. And I hope to see you again. It was really nice talking to you, and I hope you enjoyed the stream. Hope to see you again.
Soms vergeet ik mijn naam.
Soms vergeet ik mijn naam.
Ik toon de man het dure pak.
I am showing the man the expensive suit.
Er verandert niet veel in Nederland.
Not much changes in the Netherlands.
Ik geloof je.
Ik geloof je. Wij tonen het.
Soms begint het laat.
Soms begint het laat. Mijn vader gelooft. Nee, niet in mij.
Wanneer begint het feest?
Wanneer begint het feest?
Ze tonen het oude boek. Ze tonen het oude boek. We veranderen de kleur.
We veranderen de kleuren van onze vlag.
Waarom stopt de auto?
Waarom stopt de auto opeens?
We vergeten wat er
We vergeten wat er belangrijk is. Stoppen. Okay, 3 of 4.
Hij opent de doos.
He opens the box.
Hij opent het boek. Hij opent
het
boek. Jij opent de boek.
Jij opent de boeken.
De hond trekt zijn baas naar het park.
The dog pulls his owner to the park.
Ik denk dat we de auto moeten duwen.
I think we have to push the car.
Waarom duw je tegen een boom?
Why are you pushing against a tree? I would have said pushing on a tree.
Ja, het gebeurt van tijd tot tijd.
Yes, it happens from time to time. Er gebeurt niets.
Er hangt een grote spiegel in de badkamer.
There is a large mirror hanging in the bathroom.
Het blauwe gordijn hangt voor het raam.
Het blauwe gordijn hangt voor het raam. Wat gebeurt er?
De man kan zijn familie niet goed leiden.
The man cannot lead his family well. Which is funny because to a German speaker, which I also am, this does not look like that's what it says. I mean, because it sounds like der Mann kann seine Familie nicht gut leiden, which means the man doesn't really like his family much. But leiden is not the same in Dutch. Leiden in German, of course, is to suffer. Leiden in Dutch means to lead. And it's a thing you just have to get used to. Als deutschsprachiger Mensch muss man sich einfach dran gewöhnen, dass man also in den Niederlanden einfach eine andere Art zu leiden hat.
Zij kunnen ons naar het plein
Zij kunnen ons naar het plein leiden.
Mijn jassen hangen.
Mijn jassen hangen in de grote kast.
Welke straat leidt
naar het centrum?
duwen of trekken?
De
hond trekt zijn baas naar het park.
Okay, and now we are leveling up. And where does that put us? 1634 XP. We are closing in on second place. We are a little under 700 points short of first place. It is remarkably difficult to keep up with this Clarissa. I really don't know how anyone can manage to get as many XP in one day as that. There must be some shortcuts I don't know or something like that. I have no idea. But I'm gonna pick us a new language and then I'm gonna go on a little bit of a break. Catalan. Okay. Okay, so when we get back, we are going to be doing some Catalan. And right now, we're going to go in a quick break. Perfect. Okay, 3 of 4.
El hospital.
Okay, we've leveled up, and it is time to pick another language. Morfar är tröttare än vanligt. Maten är färdig. And let's see what we're doing when we get back. Greek. We're doing Greek when we get back. Ben neredeyse her gün okula giderim. Fun fact. Turkish. Hello, Shakespeare. How you doing? Fun fact, in Spanish, the word for bishop in chess is alfil. And that actually comes from Arabic. Fil. The same word fil as this. Meaning elephant, because the bishop traditionally was to represent elephant units somehow. Similarly, in Russian, the word for bishop is sword, and that also means elephant. Okay. 10-159. Haven't made a huge dent in it, but we're getting there. Okay, gonna do some Chinese now. Nej. Nej. Man. Igen. Jo. 5. Ducks are drinking wine. Bambas. Bamba, okay, Bambas is ducks. Okay, I have now leveled up. Let's see what the XP situation is now. 10,340 out of 12,500. And as always, viewers can choose my next language for me just with a follow and a $5 to my Patreon. I buy a computer or quack. And here's another example. I like to point these out. For this word for or, quack sounds vaguely like Hogun and the hok in Hogun in Korean or waku in Japanese, and that's because it is the exact same kind of character. Oh, I see. This is Dikhe Ishai Fui, which means do you want food? But yeah, are you hungry? That kind of thing. How are the boys? Cine da boy. Posso Milao. Pote. When is it? Proteine. Udros. Protoculo. In the designated chicken-eating area, obviously.
Monsieur. Livre. Liwe livla.
Mathieu. Yeah. Si. Isopi. Mathieu. Proč? Víte. Počkej. A. Si.
Oedden coginio panas. Jacob. Hefed. 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 Hek. Hek. Hek.
Mwalimu.
The center base. And it's from Muallim.
Juma ni mwalimu mke.
Oh, thanks to cat suns. Meow and the pictures of the fish. They were proud.
Sööpä. Kupu. Yrittävät. Uraista. Omena.
Are in the city center. And it's got some interesting aspects to it.
여자는 어느 나라에 있습니까? 여자는 어느 나라에 있습니까? 여자는 어느 나라에 있습니까?
Countries for living things.
兄の名前は
Perfect. Okay, 3 of 4.
El hospital.
Okay, we've leveled up and it is time to pick another language. Morfar är tröttare än vanligt. Maten är färdig. And let's see what we're doing when we get back. Greek. We're doing Greek when we get back. Ben neredeyse her gün okula giderim. Fun fact. Turkish. Hello, Shakespeare. How you doing? Fun fact, in Spanish, the word for bishop in chess is alfil. And that actually comes Okay, and I'm back. And just reminded, from that conversation about word order and understanding the different ways that expressions are found, about one of the things that often does not get mentioned when we talk about language learning. See, above all, I mean, you got various aspects to it. I mean, you've got to learn some words. Obviously, if you don't have a vocabulary, you're not going to get far in any language. Yeah, and you got to learn the writing system in order to be able to read and communicate in writing and stuff. But more than anything, what you're doing is developing an instinct that you already have in your native language. Like, if you see a sentence in your native language, it just looks weird. Like, it just doesn't quite make sense. The way it's written, you can't quite work out what's going on. It just doesn't sound natural. It sounds like the words are in a weird order or something like that. Or just the way the expression is phrased just doesn't quite make sense to you. That's an instinct that you've developed because you have acquired your native language. Now, to truly learn another language, to truly acquire another language, what you're doing is developing that instinct in a new language. And the more you expose yourself to, input in the language, the more you use the language, the more contact you have with the way the language works and, natural usage of the language by native speakers in particular, the more you start to recognize what things make sense and what things don't, what the natural sort of way of forming an expression is. And you develop this instinct. And the funny thing about it is, when you then try to, if you actually find yourself later in the position of trying to teach people this stuff, or answer questions about it, when you develop that instinct, it's actually really hard often to explain why certain things are right. Because they just, you just have a feeling. And at a certain point, if you really do well and you really go far and you develop a high level of ability in another language, you don't have to think about it. It's just there. It's just, there's a feeling. And if somebody tries to say, ask you, okay, why is that wrong? You actually have to go back and sit there and like, okay, why is that wrong? That actually, okay, it's wrong, but I can't really tell you why. It just sounds wrong. Like, I mean, if you've ever taught people, if you've ever tried to teach your language to foreign learners, for example, you will probably have had the experience of you saying, okay, that's actually not quite the right way of saying that. And they'll be like, okay, but why? It seems to make perfect sense. And sometimes you have an answer. Sometimes it's like there's a very clear answer about it. But sometimes there's just a feeling. It just feels wrong. And you have to sit there and think and maybe go back a few days, retire for a few days to work out what exactly it is about that makes that just not work. And that, that's what you're aiming for when you're learning a language. That is the goal. When you've got that instinct, and when that instinct matches, the sort of instinct that native speakers have, and to the extent that it matches that, that is how proficient you are in the language, really. I mean, there's a lot more detail to go with that. This is a simplification, but that's really a key aspect, the instinct. And it's very hard to explain it. Ok, vamos a hacer un poco de catalán.
que, a ver, ¿dónde terminamos la última vez? Sí, abstracto. ¿Qué? Vamos a hacer el abstracto.
T'agrada en realitat?
¿Te gusta en realidad?
Són realitats diferents.
Son realidades diferentes.
Té la teva edat.
Tiene tu edad.
El procés de reserva és senzill.
El proceso de reserva es sencillo.
Avui fa bon temps.
Hoy hace buen tiempo.
Som un grup de nens i nenes.
Somos un grupo de niños y niñas. A ver.
Un canvi de sentit no és un canvi de direcció.
Cambio de sentido no es un cambio de dirección. Cambio de sentido no es un cambio de dirección. Creo que esta frase ya la tuvimos antes. Ah, faltó un.
Fem un canvi de grup. Fem un canvi de grup. Quin temps fa avui?
¿Qué tiempo hace hoy?
Tenen edats diferents.
Tienen edades diferentes.
Tot va com sempre. Sense gaires canvis.
Todo va como siempre, sin muchos cambios.
Els nostres marits són d'un tipus molt especial.
Nuestros maridos son de un tipo muy especial.
Cal conèixer els processos naturals.
Hay que conocer los procesos naturales.
El català és tot un procés.
El catalán es todo un proceso.
Li agrada la música de qualsevol tipus.
¿Te gusta la música de cualquier tipo?
Quines són les 4 edats d'una persona?
¿Cuáles son las 4 edades de una persona?
Hem de fer uns quants canvis a la feina.
Tenemos que hacer unos cuantos cambios en la pega.
Un canvi de sentit no és un canvi de direcció.
Un cambio de sentido no es un cambio de dirección.
La teva informació és falsa.
Tu información es falsa.
Això és la veritat.
Eso es la verdad.
T'agraïm els teus serveis.
Te agradecemos tu servicio.
La teva foto és pública.
Tu foto es pública.
Això és obra seva.
Eso es obra suya.
Acabeu de sentir la seva obra. De sentir la seva obra. Qui diu la veritat?
¿Quién dice la verdad?
Quin nom té això?
¿Qué nombre tiene esto?
Només llegim obres d'autors famosos.
Solo leemos obras de autores famosos.
Fa un bon servei.
Da un buen servicio.
És un servei públic.
Es un servicio público.
És l'hora de l'acció.
Es la hora de la acción. Bueno, a mi juicio sería más natural decir és la hora de actuar.
Les institucions públiques estan al servei de tothom.
Las instituciones públicas están al servicio de todo el mundo.
El meu nom és molt català.
Mi nombre es muy catalán. El muchacho busca información en su casa o en casa suya.
Llegim. Obres d'autors famosos. És la hora de l'acció. La pau. Tenim moltes possibilitats.
Tenemos muchas posibilidades.
Sí, és una possibilitat.
Sí, es una posibilidad.
Un sector de la població pensa diferent.
Un sector de la población piensa diferente.
Té una imatge molt pròpia.
Tiene una imagen muy propia.
No hi ha producció sense feina.
No hay producción sin trabajo. Ni valor tampoco.
Fem les paus?
Hacemos las paces.
Els ocells estan en moviment.
Los pájaros están en movimiento. Estos niños son las imágenes vivas de sus padres.
L'activitat de classe és massa llarga.
La actividad de clase es demasiado larga.
Tenim activitats per a tothom.
Tenemos actividades para todo el mundo.
Els sectors són igual de grans i d'importants.
Son igual de grandes y de importantes. Los sectores son igual de grandes y de importantes.
Les produccions del país són diverses, però tradicionals. Són diverses, però tradicionals. Aquesta imatge és molt bonica.
Esta imagen es muy bonita.
La tortuga blava fa un moviment ràpid.
La tortuga azul. Otra vez esta tortuga azul, weón. Hace un movimiento rápido.
No tinc cap possibilitat.
No tengo posibilidad. Ninguna posibilidad.
A la feina volen més producció.
La pega. Quieren más producción. Obvio. Aquests nens són els vives imatges dels seus pares. Esos niños son las vivas imágenes de su padre.
Les produccions del país són diverses, però tradicionals.
Són diverses,
però tradicionals. És la necessitat més important.
Es la necesidad más importante.
Tens moltes capacitats.
Tienes muchas capacidades.
Tens una gran capacitat per fer-ho.
Tienes una gran capacidad de hacerlo.
Els gossos tenen
Ah,
necessitats.
para hacerlo. Los osos tienen necesidades. Los perros tienen necesidades.
Fan un programa nou a la televisió.
Dan un nuevo programa en la televisión.
És un programa nou. Un programa nou. És una capacitat pròpia dels gossos.
Es una capacidad propia de los perros.
La millor qualitat no sempre és la més cara.
La mejor calidad no siempre es la más cara.
Una investigació de la policia acaba en mans del periodista.
Una investigación de la policía acaba en manos del periodista.
S'han de canviar els codis legals.
Se han de cambiar los códigos legales.
Moltes investigacions no van enlloc.
Muchas investigaciones no van a ningún lado.
Em fa l'efecte que no hi ha necessitat de fer-ho.
Me da la impresión de que no hay necesidad de hacerlo.
Fan una pel·lícula nova amb uns grans efectes especials.
Hacen una película nueva con los grandes efectos especiales.
Aquest material és d'una qualitat superior, gairebé excel·lent.
La calidad superior, casi excelente.
La tortuga blava ja és internacional.
La tortuga azul ya es internacional. ¿Qué tortuga azul, weón? ¿De qué me hablan? ¿De qué tortuga? A mí me gustan las tortugas, pero esta no la conozco, esta tortuga blava.
Cal tenir tots dos codis.
Hay que tener ambos códigos.
Em fa l'efecte que aquesta qualitat no pot sortir barata.
Me da la impresión de que esta calidad no puede salir barata.
Una necessitat per a ell pot no ser-ho per a tu.
Una necesidad para él puede no serlo para ti.
Tens una gran capacitat per fer-ho.
Tienes una gran capacidad para hacerlo.
Fan un programa nou a la televisió.
Dan un programa nuevo en la tele. Cuatro de 10.
Té un caràcter especial.
Tiene un carácter especial.
Els objectius són possibles.
Los objetivos son posibles.
És un bon resultat.
Es un buen resultado.
Aquesta samarreta és oficial.
Esta camiseta es oficial.
Els seus orígens són espanyols, però és català.
Sus orígenes son españoles, pero es catalán.
Entenem la importància de l'escola.
Entendemos la importancia de la escuela.
Els resultats són més que bons.
Los resultados son más que buenos.
Aquelles monedes eren oficials?
Aquellas monedas eran oficiales. En mi casa los niños no vienen de París. Casa meva.
Casa meva. Els
nens
nens No venen de París. Hi ha controls a la carretera.
Hay controles en la carretera.
El meu objectiu és arribar al primer.
Mi objetivo es llegar el primero.
El meu amic no perd mai el control.
Mi amigo no pierde nunca el control.
Li agrada molt escriure amb caràcters gruixuts.
Le gusta mucho escribir con caracteres gruesos.
Tinc un sol origen. Sol origen.
Eso fue difícil.
Quin caràcter?
¿Qué carácter? Mea perso.
El meu germà no dona importància a res.
Mi hermano no le da importancia a ni una weá.
Aquelles monedes eren oficials.
Un objectiu fàcil.
Un objectiu fàcil. Parlar català. Amb aquest curs.
És una persona sense èxit.
Es una persona sin éxito.
Encara estem en construcció.
Aún estamos en construcción.
Tens molt poca memòria.
Tienes muy poca memoria.
Necessito més pràctica.
Necesito más práctica.
L'expressió de la cultura catalana es fa en català.
De la cultura catalana se hace en catalán.
M'agraden les teves expressions tan particulars.
Me gustan tus expresiones tan particulares.
El creixement de la ciutat és gran.
El crecimiento de la ciudad es grande.
Avui no puc. Tinc pràctiques.
Hoy no puedo. Tengo práctica.
Nosaltres hem perdut la consciència.
Hemos perdido la conciencia.
El meu avi escriu les seves memòries.
El meu
avi escriu les seves memòries. No tinc èxit a la feina.
No tengo éxito en el trabajo.
La pràctica fa el mestre.
La práctica hace al maestro.
Treballo al sector de la construcció.
Trabajo en el sector de la construcción.
La construcció del port nou és difícil i cara.
La construcción del puerto nuevo es difícil y cara.
Hem de prendre consciència del que ens passa.
Tenemos que tomar conciencia de lo que nos pasa.
Ens fa l'efecte que la seva expressió ho diu tot.
Nos da la impresión de que su expresión lo dice todo.
En aquest país no hi ha cap creixement de la població.
En este país no hay ningún crecimiento de la población.
Nosaltres hem perdut la consciència.
Nosotros hemos perdido la conciencia. De 10.
Tinc un assumpte pendent.
Tengo un asunto pendiente.
La teva mirada m'agrada molt.
Tu mirada me gusta mucho.
Tens molta sort.
Tenés mucha suerte.
El menjar té bon aspecte.
La comida tiene buen aspecto.
Les mirades del públic es perden quan surt aquella actriu tan bonica.
Las miradas del público se pierden Cuando sale aquella actriz tan bonita.
La creació de les màquines va portar la revolució industrial.
La creación de las máquinas trajo la revolución industrial. Esta es una característica muy particular del catalán que no he encontrado en ningún otro idioma, sobre todo en ningún otro idioma neolatino. Eso de hacer, bueno, el pretérito combinando una forma de anar, o sea, ir, con el infinitivo. Y a mí me interesaría mucho saber de dónde proviene eso, porque esto no se ve en el latín vulgar, no se ve en el castellano, en los idiomas limítrofes, el castellano, el italiano, el francés, tampoco el occitano. Tampoco existe este fenómeno. De hecho, no conozco ningún idioma que lo haga igual. Y ahí, me fascina un poco. Porque también da una impresión, sobre todo para quien no está acostumbrado a escucharla. Es una impresión un poco rara. Por ejemplo, la primera vez que leí una novela en catalán, me acuerdo del título, fue hace años y no fue muy memorable, pero sí, lo fue la sensación de estar leyendo un pretérito que parecía futuro cercano, todo en el forma va a apuntar, va a fe, etcétera, como si se estuviera describiendo weá que iban a pasar muy pronto, en vez de weas que ya pasaron.
És una xarxa per a peixos.
Es una red para peces.
La xarxa de carreteres és de gran importància.
La xarxa de carreteres és de gran importància.
Importància. Un assumpte difícil. Aconseguir la pau mundial.
Un asunto difícil. Conseguir la paz mundial.
No et creus els seus assumptes.
No te crees sus asuntos.
Tinc molta sort avui.
Tengo mucha suerte hoy.
Quan et veig em quedo amb la mirada perduda.
Cuando te veo, me quedo con la mirada perdida.
Aquí hi ha la meva nova creació.
Aquí está mi creación nueva. O mi nueva creación. Yo normalmente hubiera dicho mi nueva creación, pero cuando puse un nuevo programa, me dio respuesta roja, así que pensé, entonces quien creó este curso hace mucho hincapié en, la posterioridad de los adjetivos igual. Y aquí está la cosa.
La sort, si no es busca, no es troba.
Si la suerte, si no se busca, no se encuentra.
Quin bon aspecte que fa.
Qué buen aspecto tiene.
Hi ha una xarxa mundial d'ordinadors que té el control del món.
Hay una red mundial de ordenadores que tiene el control del mundo.
No us fa l'efecte que fa un bon aspecte?
No. da la impresión de que tiene un buen aspecto.
Aquí hi ha la meva nova creació.
Aquí está mi nueva creación. Ah, sí. 161 XP.
Tinc una visió molt bona.
Tengo una visión muy buena. Oh, we got a new viewer, it looks like. Hello, welcome, new viewer. We've been doing Catalan, and I sort of switched over to Spanish because it's Spanish to Catalan, so it's just sort of force of habit.
Veus visions?
Ves visiones.
El català està en perill.
El catalán está en peligro.
Hem de guanyar el judici.
Tenemos que ganar el juicio.
El judici és demà. Judici és demà.
The trial is tomorrow.
El dia del judici el jutge no hi era.
El día del juicio, el juez no estaba.
No hi ha accés possible.
No hay acceso posible.
Els perills de la ciutat són molts i diversos.
Los peligros de la ciudad son muchos y diversos.
Aquest llibre té molts continguts.
Este libro tiene mucho contenido.
L'accés al contingut és ràpid.
El acceso al contenido es rápido.
La selecció natural va donar origen a la tortuga blava.
Otra vez con la tortuga azul, huevón. La selección natural dio origen a la tortuga azul. Huevón, la tortuga azul está en
L'accés
todos lados.
tanca a les 10.
El acceso cierra a las 10.
Escrius els continguts de la lliçó.
Escribe los contenido de la lección.
Un problema de visió. Portar ulleres fosques de nit.
Llevar gafas oscuras de noche.
Aquesta és la meva selecció dels millors bars de Barcelona.
Esta es mi selección de los mejores bares de Barcelona. M'agrada
veure com juga
la
la
selecció
selecció
de
futbol catalana.
És
És
bo
bo sentir por davant
del
del perill.
Ocho de 10, 8 of 10. Los personajes tienen mucho traje.
Les aplicacions mòbils són bones.
Las aplicaciones móviles son buenas.
L'última escena és la millor.
La última escena es la mejor.
Els estudiants d'aquest curs mostren una gran aplicació.
Curso muestran una gran aplicación.
Tu no estàs a l'altura.
Tú no estás a la altura.
Aquella bandera és a gran altura.
A gran altura.
Ah, chucha, misclick.
6 personatges busquen autor.
6 personajes buscan autor.
Si no acceptes els meus termes, no t'ajudo.
Si no aceptas mis términos, no te ayudo.
En aquesta obra hi ha una escena per a cada personatge.
En esta obra hay una escena para cada personaje.
Et dono un terme de 6 mesos per acabar el curs.
Te doy un plazo, un término de 6 meses para acabar el curso.
L'avió va pujar cap a les altures.
El avión subió hacia las alturas.
Té moltes possibles aplicacions.
Tiene muchas aplicaciones posibles.
Actors i personatges. Qui és qui? En aquesta família, el germà petit sempre queda en segon terme.
El hermano pequeño siempre queda en segundo término.
Aquest avió ha de guanyar altura si no vol caure a terra.
Ese avión tiene que ganar altura si no quiere caer a tierra.
El van veure a la carretera a l'altura de Girona.
Lo digo en la carretera a la altura de Girona.
L'escena de llit entre el cuiner i la cuinera és la que més m'agrada.
La escena de cama entre el cocinero y la cocinera es la que más me gusta.
Aquella bandera és a gran altura.
Aquella bandera és a gran altura.
Té moltes possibles aplicacions.
Tiene muchas posibles aplicaciones. Los nens necesitan protección. Niños necesitan protección.
No saber català és una circumstància molt comuna entre els espanyols.
Una circunstancia muy común entre los españoles.
El seu propòsit és aconseguir-ho.
El propòsito és conseguirlo.
El propòsit d'aquest curs és fer fàcil el català. Aquest curs és. El propòsit d'aquest curs és fer fàcil el català. Fàcil, el català. Les mesures de protecció són adequades.
Las medidas de protección son adecuadas. Ah, buenas, papi Wilson, ¿cómo estás?
Els meus pensaments són meus i de ningú més.
Mis pensamientos son míos y de nadie más.
La competència et fa més fort.
La competencia te hace más fuerte.
Fas cara de circumstàncies.
Pones cara de circunstancia. bastante bien, un poco cansada porque tuve que levantarme un poco temprano. Y además
La
tengo que
competència
levantarme de
ens fa
nuevo
canviar
muy
els
temprano.
propòsits.
La competencia nos va a cambiar los propósitos. La competencia nos hace cambiar los propósitos.
Compro la carn a la competència.
Compro la carne a la competencia.
Els gats estan sota la protecció dels seus pares.
Los gatos están bajo la protección de sus padres.
La competència entre els professionals millora el servei i els resultats.
Competencia entre los profesionales mejora el servicio y los resultados.
La gent intel·ligent es posa protecció davant el perill.
La gente inteligente se pone protección ante el peligro.
Que et fa l'efecte que llegeixo els teus pensaments.
Te da... no. Da la impresión de que leo tus pensamientos.
Et fa l'efecte que estic a l'altura de les circumstàncies.
Te da la impresión de que estoy a la altura de las circunstancias. Eso fue mucho. Bien, nivel 1. Vimos de nivel y vamos a cambiar de idioma. Y también, bien, llegamos al puesto número 2. Bueno, faltan como 600 puntos. No, un poco más de 500 puntos para llegar al primero, pero bueno. Hemos mantenido una posición bastante sólida durante este periodo de División Rubí, siempre en el puesto 2 al final del día. Y ahora es hora de cambiar de idioma. Y luego voy a hacer un pequeño descanso, darme una fumadita, un par de otras cosas más. Esperanto. Okay, and so get back. It is going to be Esperanto. Y voy y vuelvo dentro de un par de minutos.
Perfect. Okay, 3 of 4.
El hospital es...
Okay, we've leveled up and it is time to pick another language. Morfar är tröttare än vanligt. Maten är färdig. And let's see what we're doing when we get back. Greek. We're doing Greek when we get back. Ben neredeyse her gün okula giderim. Fun fact. Turkish. Hello, Shakespeare. How you doing? Fun fact, in Spanish, the word for bishop in chess is alfil. And that actually comes from Arabic. Fil. The same word fil as this. Meaning elephant, because the bishop traditionally was to represent elephant units somehow. Similarly, in Russian, the word for bishop is sword. And that also means elephant. Okay. 10-159. Haven't made a huge dent in it, but we're getting there. Okay, gonna do some Chinese now. Nei. Nei. Man. Yen. Yo. 5. Ducks are drinking wine. Bakbaz. Bakbaz? Okay, Bakbaz is ducks. Okay, I have now leveled up. Let's see what the XP situation is now. 10,340 out of 12,500. And as always, viewers can choose my next language for me just with a follow and a $5 to my Patreon. I buy a computer or quack. And here's another example. I like to point these out. For this word for quack sounds vaguely like Hogun and the hok in Hogun in Korean or waku in Japanese, and that means it is the exact same kind of character. Oh, I see. This is Dikhe Ishai Fui, which means do you want food? But yeah, are you hungry? That kind of thing. How are the boys? Cocine da boy. Posso Milao. Pote. When is it? Proteine. Udros. Protocolo. In the designated chicken-eating area, obviously.
Monsieur. Livre. Liwe, livre.
Maciej. Yeah. Si. Wysoki. Maciej. Proč? Inter. Počkej. A. Si.
Oedden coginio panas. Jacob. Hefed. 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 Hek. Hek. Hek.
Mwalimu.
This Saturday. And it's from Muallim.
Juma ni mwalimu mke.
Oh, things to do with cat suns. Meow and the pictures of the fish. That's they were proud.
Sööpä. Hupu. Yrittävät. Uraista. Omena.
Are in the city center. And it's got some interesting aspects to it.
여자는 어느 나라에 있습니까? 여자는 어느 나라에 있습니까? 여자는 어느 나라에 있습니까?
Countries for living things.
兄の名前は
Perfect. Okay, 3 of 4.
El hospital es...
Okay, we've leveled up, and it is time to pick another language. Morfar är tröttare än vanligt. Maten är färdig. And let's see what we're doing when we get back. Greek! We're doing Greek when we get back. Ben neredeyse her gün okula giderim. Fun fact. Turkish. Hello, Shakespeare. How you doing? Fun fact, in Spanish, the word for bishop in chess is alfil. And that actually comes from Arabic. Fil. The same word fil as this. Meaning elephant, because the bishop traditionally was to represent elephant units somehow. Similarly, in Russian, the word for bishop is sword, and that also means elephant. Okay. 10. And we're back. Estamos de vuelta y vamos a seguir con Esperando.
Ĉu vi povas priskribi la lokon?
Can you describe the location?
Ĉu aliaj mondoj ekzistas?
Do other worlds exist?
La priskribo estas facile komprenebla.
The description is easily understandable.
Sofia taksas sin tre bela.
Considers herself very beautiful.
La verkisto priskribis la urbon en sia libro.
The author described the city in his book.
Mi preferas ke ni farbu la domon verda.
That we paint the house green. Farbu?
Ekzistas lingvoj, kiuj uzas nur gestojn.
There exist languages that only use gestures.
Ni konsideros tiun problemon.
We will consider that problem.
Kiam ŝi farbis sian ĉambron flava?
That voice is very familiar to me somehow. When did she paint her room yellow?
Kies kuzo pereis pro malvarma vetero sur la monto?
Cousin perished of cold because of cold weather on the mountain.
Ni suferos grandan perdon.
We will suffer a great loss. Suferos.
Kiom aĝa vi taksas min?
How old do you think I am?
Ĉu vi konsideris ĉiun eblon? Ĉieblon.
Ni consideros tiun
Tiun.
problemon.
Ili.
Feris
Ne nur.
Pro la
Milito.
sed pereis. Ne nur pereis. Okay.
Ili. Ne nur.
Feris
Pro
la
Milito.
sed pereis. Two of six.
Preparu vin.
Prepare yourself.
Suppozu che vi malpravas.
Suppose that you are wrong. Malpravas. Now that is an interesting combination of prefix and root. Mal, which in Esperanto means is like the negative suffix used to form the opposite of whatever it's attached to. Bravas. Which is from prav, which in I think pretty much every Slavic language means correct or right or whatever. Malbravas, you unright, basically. As a verb even.
Mi supozas che li baldaŭ alvenos.
I suppose that he will soon arrive. Baldaŭ.
Oni devas apliki la regulojn.
One must apply the rules.
La instruisto donas la difinon de la vorto alla studentoj.
The teacher gives the definition of the word to the students. Definon.
Ĉu vi konscias ke mi tute malkonsentas pri tio?
You aware that I completely disagree about that. Interesting. In Esperanto, they don't really go in for adjectives so much. I mean, they do have adjectives, but more than anything, they like to turn them into verbs.
Li aplikis sian grandan scion alla problemo.
웃으며 말해요. 아니 글쎄 날 보고 존맛한 소녀예요. Applied is great knowledge to the problem.
Oni devas konsideri la faktojn antaŭ ol decidi.
For deciding. Faktojn.
Mi supozas ke vi ne konscias ke li amas vin.
Assume that you are not aware that he loves you.
Kion tio povus signifi?
What could that mean?
La vortaro difinas la signifon de tiu vorto.
The dictionary defines the meaning of that word. Oh, this is a song I've never heard before, and I quite like it. Preparis.
Tre.
Factoin.
Ili.
Trinkas.
Trinkas. Mi.
Tio.
Estas la
signifo de
tiu
tiu
vorto.
Preparu
Vin. Pensi signifas compari.
To think means to compare.
Li ĉiam ripetas la saman eraron.
He always repeats the same mistake.
La pluvo ĉesis.
The rain ceased.
Kion vi opinias pri tio?
What do you think about that?
Ĉesu tuj.
Stop. Immediately.
Esperanto regas.
Esperanto rules.
Kial vi ĉiam komparas vin al Sofia?
Why do you compare yourself to Sophia? Always.
Mi ripetos tion nur unu fojon.
I will repeat that only one time.
Ŝi ne permesos ke mi iru.
She will not permit me to go.
Ili ne permesas ke ilia infanoj ludu ekster la domo vespere.
They don't allow the children to play outside the house in the evening. Oh, I see what the issue is. I was trying to find an extra the.
En kiu lingva familio estas tiu lingvo? Vi devas analizi ĝin.
In which language family is that language? You have to analyze it. Regi. Regas.
Regas. Havas. Ili. Au.
Ne.
Ne.
Oni ne povas kompari akvon al oleo.
One cannot compare water to oil. I don't know, I find it fairly easy to compare them.
Ni analizu tiun gravan problemon kune. Gravan. Kune. Ĉu vi opinias ke ili maltrafis sian celon?
Do you think that they missed their target?
Ili ĉesis studi lingvojn.
They stopped studying languages.
Kial vi ĉiam komparas vin al Sofia?
Why do you always compare yourself to Sofia? Because I'm also a major Bulgarian city.
Ili ne permesas ke ilia infanoj ludu ekster la domo vespere.
They don't allow their children to play outside the house in the evening. Yeah, the last time I had used the children, I'd kind of skipped over their children, and then I couldn't find the for in the for outside the house, so I figured it was just outside. Four of six.
Mi pardon petas.
I am sorry. I pardon ask. Although, that also looks kind of like pardon fart. Mi pardon petas. Kai bonan nokton.
Li volas prezenti la programon. Temas pri amo.
It's about love. Oh, temas. Okay. So to be about has a verb as well.
Lastatempe mi perdis pezon.
Recently, I lost weight. Like, see, I've never done anything with Esperanto. It's just this easy to work these things out for the most part.
Mi prezentas mian libron.
I present my book.
Morgaŭ paĉjo komprenos, kial ni faris tion.
We will understand why. No. Dad will understand why we did that. Comprenos.
Temas pri la mono por la libroj.
It's about the money for the books? Okay, I wouldn't have guessed that mono was money.
Ĉu li ne volas pardonpeti?
Does he not want to apologize?
Li prezentis sian edzinon al la klubo.
Wife to the club.
Sofia scipovas legi la ĉinan, ĉu ne?
Knows how to read Chinese, doesn't she?
Ĉu tiu krokodilo vere pezas 20 kilogramojn?
Really weigh 20 kilograms? That sounds a bit light for a crocodile, to be honest.
Se mi scipovus paroli la ĉinan, mi povus labori en Ĉinio.
I knew how to speak Chinese, I could work in China.
Li volis min helpi, sed li malhelpis.
He wanted to help me, but he hindered. Malhelpis.
Li volis min helpi, sed malhelpis.
Ĉu ski povas
paroli Esperanton?
Ĉu vi? Right.
Li volis min helpi, sed li malhelpis. Ĉu vi povas paroli Esperanton?
Five of 6.
Ne provu impresi min.
Don't try to impress me.
Tio ne koncernas vin.
That does not concern you.
Kion vi strebas fari?
What do you strive to do?
Mi ne volas stari sur la pesilo.
Want to stand on the scale. Want want to stand on the scale. Be nice if they had drag and drop on this. Because sometimes there's one word that needs to be changed and it's at the very beginning. And it gets a little bit old having to take down all of the words that are subsequent just to be able to get to the one that you got wrong.
Ŝi pesis la bluan lanon per pesilo.
Full with a scale.
Mi deziras ke ŝi ne petu tiom da mono.
That she would not ask for so much money.
Mi hezitas diri tion.
Hesitate to say.
Li hezitis momenton, kaj tiam li respondis.
And then he replied.
Tiu alta turo tre impresas min.
Tall tower really impresses me.
Mi petis ke ŝi pesu la legomoin por mi.
To weigh the vegetable for me.
Ŝi uzis grandan pesilon por pesi la viandon. Tiuj talentaj aktoroj impresis la spektantaron. Liaj decidoj ne koncernas min.
Do not concern me.
Mi strebas farbi la tutan domon antaŭ la vintro.
To paint the whole house before winter.
La loĝantaro de tiu lando estas riĉa.
The population of that country is rich.
Ni petu ke panjo aĉetu ĉokoladon por ni.
Ask Mom to buy chocolate for damn it. Let's ask Mom to buy chocolate for us.
Li
hezitis ĵus momenton kaj
li respondis.
Mi strebas farbi
tutan la domon antaŭ la vintro.
La tutan domon.
Li
hezitis momenton
kaj tiam li respondis.
Mi strebas farbi la tutan domon antaŭ la vintro. Okay. I think that's enough for tonight. I think I've got to get up a bit early. Well, actually, potentially very early. Leveled up, so let's do a final XP check for the evening. 1845. In second place again. I'll have to do a real marathon session, I think, to actually get to first place here. But I'd say we've been doing pretty well. Just to recap our languages today. We did Esperanto, Dutch, Scottish Gaelic, Japanese. Actually, we only did those. And Catalan. Also Catalan. And the reason that took so long is the reason there's so few compared to usual is that Catalan and Esperanto both had huge numbers of lessons in each one. Way more than usual. Okay, so that explains that. Usually it's like 10 languages. This time it was just 5. But okay. And also have a good night. Thank you to everyone who's been watching or is watching this later on YouTube. And do watch out for the first episode of my new series, Learn Korean Through Music, which will be coming out in the next couple of days for patrons, on the $5 tier, and sometime next week for everybody else. So if you want to get those immediately after they come out, just sign up, become a patron. I always love to see new patrons on my Patreon because it allows me to continue doing this. And allows me to do more of it. I really appreciate the support. Of course, you should never feel pressured at all, and if you can't, you can't. That's not something that you should have any reason to feel bad for. I would not want you to. But if you want to, I would absolutely love it, and I would very much appreciate it. So, whichever one you choose. That series will be available. It's just a matter of when. Have a good night. And see you, well, not tomorrow, because I'm going to be away most of tomorrow, but maybe tomorrow night.